Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today from the Srimad-bhagavatam, 8th Canto, Chapter 9, Text 29. This is the last verse for Chapter 9. And next, so then Saturday, then we'll go to the next chapter. Okay, so we'll chant Sanskrit. Yajujate Suvasukarma Mano Vachobir De Atmajadishu Nidrishtanasat Pritaktvat Tire Eva Sad Bhavati Yat Kriyate Pritaktvat Sarvashatad Bhavati Mula Nishe Chananyat Yad Yujate Suvasukarma Mano Vacho Vir Dehatma Jadishu Drivistadasat Pritak Twat Tire Eva Sat Bhavati Tat Kriyate Pritak Twat Sarvashatat Bhavati Mula Nishechanang Yat Yad Yujate Suvasukarma Mano Vacho Vir Dehatmajas Jisu Nirvishtada Sat Pritaktvat Tire Eva Sad Bhavati Yat Kriyate Pritaktvat Sarva Shatad Bhavati Mula Dishesh Janang Yat. And then word for word synonyms. Yat, whatever. Yujate is performed. Asu, for the protection of, for the protection of one's life. Vasu, protection of wealth. Karma, activities. Mana, are the acts of the mind. Vachobi, are the acts of words. Deha, Atma, Jalishu, for the sake of one's personal body or family, etc., with reference to the body. Nribi, by the human beings. Tat, that. Asat, impermanent, transient. Twat, because of separation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tai, are the same activities. Eva, indeed. Sat, bhavati, Sat bhavati becomes factual and permanent. Yat, which, kriyate, is performed. Apritatvat, because of non-separation. Sarvasha, for everyone. Tat bhavati, becomes beneficial. Mula nisheshanam, exactly like pouring water on the root of a tree. Yat, which.
My friend from Russia
that
called me and wants to talk, but right now I sat down class.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Dharma, disciple Prabhupada, ученик Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Miami temple, big, but no people near to
Translation. In human society, there are various activities performed for the protection of one's wealth and life by one's words, one's mind, and one's actions. But they are all performed for one's personal or extended sense gratification with reference to the body. All these activities are baffled because of being separate from devotional service. But when the same activities are performed for the satisfaction of the Lord, the beneficial results are distributed to everyone. Just as water poured on the root of a tree is distributed throughout the entire tree. So this is the...
What verse? What canto? What verse?
8th canto, chapter 9, text 29. It's the last verse of the chapter.
8, 9, 29.
Yeah, 8, 9, 29.
Let me check.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is the distinction between materialistic activities and activities performed in Krishna consciousness. The entire world is active, and this includes the karmis, the jnanis, the yogis, and the bhaktas. However, all activities except those of the bhaktas, the devotees, end in bafflement and a waste of time and energy. Moghasa Mogha Karmano Mogha Jnana Vichesh Tataha Asaha Vichetasaha. If one is not a devotee, his hopes, his activities, and his knowledge are all baffled. A non-devotee works for his personal sense gratification or for the sense gratification of his family, society, community, or nation. But because all of such activities are separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are considered asat. The word asat means bad or temporary, and sat means permanent and good. Activities performed for the satisfaction of Krishna are permanent and good, but asat activity, although sometimes celebrated as philanthropy, altruism, nationalism, this ism or that ism, will never produce any permanent result. It is therefore all bad. Even a little work done in Krishna consciousness is a permanent asset and is all good because it is done for Krishna, the all-good Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is everyone's friend, Suridang Sarvabhutanam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only enjoyer and proprietor of everything. Bhoktarang Yagasapasam Sarvam Lokamaheshwaram. Therefore, any activities performed for the Supreme Lord is permanent. As a result of such activities, the performer is immediately recognized. Nacha tasman manusheshu kaschin me priya kritamaha. Such a devotee, because of full knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is immediately transcendental, although he may superficially appear to be engaged in materialistic activities. The only distinction between a materialistic activity and a spiritual activity is that material activity is performed only to satisfy one's own senses, whereas spiritual activity is meant to satisfy the transcendental senses of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By spiritual activity, everyone factually benefits, whereas by materialistic activity, no one benefits, and instead one becomes entangled in the law of karma. Let's see in the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 8th Canto, 9th chapter of the Srimad-bhagavatam, entitled Lord Incarnates as Mohini Murti. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumritamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, this, like I said, this is the last verse of this chapter. So there have been different points made in this chapter, and the last verse usually means the conclusion, the summary of what is to be learned. Because Srimad-bhagavatam are not just stories, they're histories, they're not stories. And they're in the Srimad-bhagavatam because they are relevant. They're relevant to us who are trying to become Krishna conscious. So we have to try to understand through the verses and the purports what are we supposed to get out of this. So this, are you familiar with the Mohini Murti chapter?
Yeah, Mohini Murti was like coming there Lord Shiva was
So Mohini Murti, she history is the demigods, previous chapters, the demigods and the demons were fighting, and the demigods were losing. So, and they were becoming very concerned because the demons were becoming more powerful. So all the demigods went, led by Lord Brahma, they all went to the Shwetadweep planet and prayed to Lord Vishnu, glorifying him. They actually never asked him for anything, but of course he knew. The Supreme Lord knows what the problem is. So they did pray to him, and then he came and he appeared before them, and he advised them that they, rather than fighting with the demons right now, in which case they would probably lose, so he said, try to make a truce. He said truce, an agreement, ceasefire, sort of like that. So you try to do that with the demons, rather than fighting them, because you will lose right now if you fight them. So and he said, try to convince them to come and work with the demigods and the demons together to churn the ocean of milk where Lord Vishnu is. Churn the ocean of milk. They threw in different kinds of ingredients and they churned using a big snake as a rope and a big mountain as the churning rod that was churning the ocean. So very big, and you can imagine, just like you can have someone who has a container with some cream, and they churn and make yogurt, or make butter. So, but this is all the demigods, all the demons working together with a huge snake, with a mountain on top of the Korma incarnation, the tortoise incarnation. Korma was his shell was 800,000 miles wide, huge. That's 100 times as wide as the Earth. So imagine the size of this endeavor. So they work together, and different things came out from the ocean. First poison that Lord Shiva drank to save them, and other items came out. And finally the Dhanvantari, the incarnation of the Lord, he came out with a pot of nectar, which is what they were all wanting to do, all wanting to get. And then the demons, by force, stole the pot of nectar to pull it away from Dhanvantari. And the demigods were concerned, but Lord Vishnu says, don't worry, I will create an illusion and we'll get the nectar back. So, and the illusion was that he manifested himself as Mohini Murti, female form. And she is, because she's Krishna, but in female form, so she was extremely attractive. Beauty, how she would speak, how she would smile, how she would move her eyes, so many. And the demons especially became very enchanted with her. and at the same time, the demons who had this nectar, they were already fighting amongst themselves. Okay, I get it first. No, I get it first. I get it first. They couldn't even agree on. Everyone wanted it for themselves. They weren't thinking share with everyone. Give me it first. So they're fighting, And then they saw her, became very attracted to her, and ultimately they asked her they entrusted her with the nectar to, okay, you decide how to divide it amongst us. So she agreed. So she had all the demons line up here, all the demigods line up far away, and she went and spoke nicely with the demons about the, yeah, you were all educated, you were all great souls, you were so powerful, like that. Trying to encourage them like that, and she would she basically criticized the demigods. Says, but those demigods, they're too anxious. So let me just give them a little something. She took the nectar, which she gave it all to the demigods. Demons did not get anything. So like that, and ultimately, I think yesterday's verse, Mohini Murti revealed to the demons who she actually was. She's actually God. It's actually Vishnu, taking that form to cheat them. She says, "This is who I am, and this is what I did. I just cheated you." Like that. but the like that. So, and now that brings us up to this last verse, that Srila Prabhupada is making it very clear that the activities of the devotees and of the non-devotees, the activities are more or less the same. We engage in all the but the difference is. But the difference is between the activities of the devotees and the activities of the non-devotees is that, with the exception of the devotees, everyone is engaging in these activities only for their personal sense gratification. Srila Prabhupada describes here in the purport either personal sense gratification or extended sense gratification. Because if a person is thinking, let me do something for me personally, but then I have family, so I do it for my family, or I do it for my country, or I do it for someone else. But it's all part of the bodily concept of life. This is the non-devotees are thinking like this, and the devotees, the pure devotees at least, are thinking, let me do these activities in the service of the Lord. Let me engage in Lord Krishna's devotional service. This is the difference. The difference in activities. And the results are different too. Because Srila Prabhupada points out that for the non-devotees, first of all, they'll always remain frustrated. Non-devotees will always remain frustrated. It doesn't matter what they have. It doesn't matter how much money they have, how much fame they have, anything that they have. If they're not using it in the Lord's service, they always remain frustrated. There's so many cases of big people who had lots of money and lots of fame, and everyone knew them. And in the end, they kill themselves because they're so frustrated trying to enjoy it. They have everything, and they still cannot be happy. So on one level or another, that's the way most people in the world are. And then there are the devotees of the Lord who are not trying to do things for material enjoyment, but are rather trying to do things to please Krishna. They're trying to do things to please Krishna. And because of engaging their activities for the service of pleasing Krishna, what happens? The devotee becomes, if you please Krishna, then Krishna reciprocates. We make Krishna happy, we do something for his pleasure, and of course we also receive, by his mercy, we also receive so much pleasure. We're happy because we're engaged in that devotional service. And whereas the non-devotees, after possibly many years of enjoying in certain ways, still they have to come back and take another birth in the material world, and another birth means birth, which is miserable according to Srimad-bhagavatam, death, which is nobody wants death, old age. We can see that we all are getting older, even from childhood. The child gradually ages. Birth, death, disease.
Disease.
Huh?
Birth, old age, disease, and death.
And death, yeah, and everyone gets sick
Yeah,
at some
sick,
point.
disease. Yeah, on old age, the Bhagavatam said, disease is coming. Before death, so many problems coming.
Yes, the birth, death, disease, old age. So all these things will go on, and then, but for the non-devotees, and they're completely frustrated, and in the end, they have to take birth again and suffer the karma of their whatever they did in that lifetime, plus the karma that's still carrying over from probably millions of lifetimes previously. So that's the non-devotee, because because of the activity, the consciousness is not correct. So, but the devotee can engage in basically largely the same activities, not completely. Devotees will not eat meat or work in a slaughterhouse or something like that. But devotees will, by engaging in devotional service, the devotees will, in this lifetime, have some peace and happiness, and ultimately are preparing themselves by devotional service to go back to the spiritual world. And of course, in the spiritual world, there's no birth, no death, no disease, no old age. And your relationship with Krishna is there eternally. And Krishna is very happily, he's very happily there, and we have the opportunity to go and associate in some loving way with Krishna in the spiritual world. But so, because of the consciousness, because of the purpose for our activities, the devotee gives one result, and the karmi or the non-devotee gets a different result. And that's what we're doing here. In this history, actually the demons wanted this nectar, the demigods wanted the nectar. The agreement was that they'd all share it amongst themselves, but the demons had no intention of giving to the demigods, and the demigods had no intention of giving to the demons. But who won in the end? The demigods won in the end. The goal was to get that nectar, so they won. They won in the end because they were under the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But other than that, they wanted the nectar, they wanted to enjoy, and they wanted a long duration of life. They want all these things. So the demigods ultimately were satisfied. The Lord was pleased with them. and 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 the demigods also got the nectar. The demons didn't get anything except for Rahu. They drank to about here, and it where Vishnu cut off his head like that. Any questions or comments?
Yesterday Kaddish, and do you know stories about this Kaddish, Achi Kaddish?
Oh, about this particular Kadasi. Not from memory, no. There are books on the subject, but I don't know this particular Kadasi history.
Also, can you translate this verse, please? Can you read again translation verse?
The verse,
Yeah.
the verse translation is, in human society there are various activities performed for the protection of one's wealth and life by one's words, one's mind, and one's actions. But they are all performed for one's personal or extended sense gratification with reference to the body. All these activities are baffled because of being separate from the devotional service. But when the same activities are performed for the satisfaction of the Lord, the beneficial results are distributed to everyone, just as water poured on the root of a tree is distributed throughout the entire tree.
I want to ask, it's correct, I understand, if like everything what we have, body or what we like.
And I hear it.
What we have, like body or like house, or we should be engaged in devotional service. Everything should be connected with Supreme God. It's like this we make purification. Because in society usually people use body for sense gratification, not for devotional service.
Yeah.
And these problems coming, karma coming, and all these activities, birth, death,
Yeah.
disease.
Yeah, most people use material facilities just for material enjoyment. Most people do. Only this many take up the path of devotional service.
Even devotees, they stay on path of devotional service. Sometimes it's not easy to like whole life to engage in devotional service. Sometimes there was some sense gratification and there was devotional service, and that like.
Yes.
This path, it's not easier, like even for devotee.
That is correct. So it says,
Mostly on young age, old age more focus, When on young age, they're like mind and their like senses more stronger and it's like
yes.
not so focused for devotion, for chanting mantra.
Yeah, and I don't know so much about old age either, that it's easier. Usually when we get older, that we're very fixed in our bad habits.
No, if you can see like temples, Alacho or like Los Angeles or here, usually like people over 50, more focused for devotional service.
Actually, if you speak into the microphone, yeah, the mic because we stream and nobody can hear what you're saying. If they
This throne should be everyone can hear.
Yeah, well, this is we put the microphones here so
that I tell, like I can see my experience, like people like over 50, they're in temples, like Los Angeles or Alacho or here, that like devotee over 50, they're more focused for devotional service than young age, like 20s, 15 or 30, because like young age, senses and mind, they are not so focused for devotional service. They are like want something, outside devotional service.
Yes, naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those who are older, who are more focused, they probably, in most cases, have been practicing in Krishna consciousness for years too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly, yeah.
So they've been practicing, and then what happens is, in time, by Krishna's arrangement, the material body, as we get older, less energy, less, the senses don't become as, you know, quite as problematic. The, so as we, if we're practicing Krishna consciousness, then when the body starts to diminish like that, then the practicing devotee can more easily focus at that point. but we don't want to encourage people to, as far as possible, start off Krishna consciousness early in your life. Prahlad Maharaj taught like that. Prahlad Maharaj, his schoolmates, when he was a 5-year-old preacher. So he's preaching to his classmates when the teachers were away. The children were talking about Krishna, and they're saying, "Oh, Prahlad, Krishna consciousness sounds good, but let us play now. We'll take up Krishna consciousness when we get old." And Prahlad says, "No, it doesn't work that way." He says, "You're young now, and then for so many years you'll be in school, working very hard. So then you'll think, I can't do anything Krishna conscious because I'm working very hard in school. And then maybe by the time you're 20 or 25 years old, then most people would probably get married in the Vedic system. You get married, and then of course when you're married, there's wife, children, and a lot of entanglement, a lot of work to keep family going. You think, oh, well, I can't take up Krishna consciousness now because I got so many things to do. And then we get, it's like retired age, where our body's really breaking down, and finally, in the end, become so invalid. So when do you actually take up Krishna consciousness? So Prahlad would say, don't wait, start now, start practicing now, so that at the end, you can already achieve your desired result.
Yes, exactly.
That's the way.
But these special personalities, Shri Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Rishabhadev, like Yudhishthira Maharaj, these special personalities, but they're Kali Yuga, like general, like human beings, they're so weak, they're like, these like Shri Prahlad or Dhruva Maharaj, they are from womb mother, they're already devotee, so surrender to Krishna. But they're like general human beings, they're like 1,000 times you tell Bhagavatam, Srimad-bhagavatam Gita, and still, their mind wonderful.
Yes, it's always difficult. And Krishna says that.
Yeah.
Manushanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Krishna says, out of many, many thousands of people, men and women, versus men, many thousands among men, hardly one even endeavors for any kind of perfection. Perfection means something transcendental. Hardly one even endeavors for it. And then those who endeavor for it, like the jnanis and like that, hardly one comes to the point of understanding and practicing and perfecting devotional service at least within one lifetime. So that's what Krishna says like that. So out of the whole world, it's not expected that the whole world, that we will see any one time that the whole world is 100% Hare Krishna devotees. It's not going to happen. Not within one lifetime. And those of us who have taken up the path of Krishna consciousness, we, for sure, if we're taking it up now, we've practiced or we've progressed in the past life, and maybe previous life, and a previous life. It's gradual. But when we come to the point, like now, that here we are, some are initiated, many are initiated. We understand the philosophy, we understand the goal of life, what we should be doing. We have all this knowledge that Srila Prabhupada has passed on to us. So if we've come to this point, and we want to become Krishna conscious, it's very easy. We simply just have to stay on the path. We maybe spend millions of lifetimes to get to the point where we are now, taking up Krishna consciousness and actually, make this is my real purpose in life. Like, this is my real goal of life. It takes maybe millions of lifetimes to come to this point. But once we've come to this point, there's no reason, if we desire at least, there's no reason we cannot finish up our business of Krishna, becoming Krishna conscious in this very lifetime. We don't have. It's not that we have to take a birth again and again and again and again. For how long? If we've come to the point we're here, we know the goal of life, we have this knowledge, we're practicing this way of life, this knowledge. There's no reason that we should have to go down again or wait to another lifetime or another lifetime. If we're serious, we can finish up our business in this lifetime.
Yes.
And even if we do not finish up our business in this lifetime, still we should make very good progress. And then Lord Krishna says that if one is practicing Krishna consciousness but gives up before perfecting, then you might either go to the heavenly planets or maybe be born in a nice, wealthy family and have, in that situation you don't have to worry about every day, where am I going to eat? Where's my shelter today? You have a good situation. So since you don't have to worry about those things, then it gives a person a chance to start meditating on, higher knowledge, because you're not just putting all your energy into just like, I'm hungry, I need something to eat. And sometimes if somebody didn't finish up due to too much attachment for sense gratification, they dropped out of devotional service, then maybe they'll take birth in the heavenly planets, where there's a lot more material enjoyment there, and then you get a good dose of material enjoyment, then you still have to come back down to earth and try again to become Krishna conscious. So, but if someone is very advanced and very serious, but still gave it up before perfecting it, then they would likely take birth in a family of devotees. So from the family of devotees means from the beginning of your life, you're practicing Krishna consciousness, being prasadam, you're hearing the holy names, you're being taught about Krishna, like that. So, but as far as possible, if someone is just thinking, I've had some nice prasadam, I've done certain things, I've chanted Hare Krishna, I won't worry about it too much in this lifetime, I'll just continue on. Well, you can do that, but there's always a chance of becoming entangled again. So right now, when we're thinking clearly, we should stay on the path and become Krishna conscious and go back to the spiritual world. Make this lifetime our last lifetime, which is really the conclusion of the Srimad-bhagavatam.
Yeah, the my Guru Maharaj said also one his disciple, he said, like key for devotional service, you need to like call to association devotees. Even you young or middle age or old age, all time should be like staying in society and devotees. These devotees will be helped to like practice Krishna consciousness and studying Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita and chanting rounds Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Yes. Chant our rounds, follow the principles,
Yeah.
do what we can do in helping giving Krishna consciousness to others. Like that. That's everything.
Thank you, Dharma Prabhu, for class. Very wonderful class.
Our voice
Nice.
Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri